Listen Vet.
On Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
In association with Royal Canin, the animal before the owner.
So I'm now joined by Dr. Jose Botte of the Modern Vet Clinic. Dr. Jose, how are you feeling? I hear you're on 24-hour call. Are these animals very demanding?
Yeah, indeed. Hello, Poonam. So nice to be here again. Thank you so much for your invitation.
Are you tired today?
Not particularly. No, it was a nice day. I had very nice patients, very nice pets. You know, it's always good when we have get some love back. A couple of licks and tail waggings. It's always good.
Oh, that's nice to hear. So we're going to be talking, if anybody's got any questions about their pets, please do text us on 4001. Dr. Jose is here to answer anything that you have. I wanted to just bring up recently a situation in the news where a 2-year-old dog died when she was left inside a hot car for 7 hours by a daycare company. I know that what I do know is dogs eliminate heat from their bodies by panting, unlike us who sweat it off. So can you talk about that, and what advice would you give pet owners when it comes to this heat?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is a vital topic to discuss during this time of the year here in the UAE. Sadly, it's something that we see quite often, and it doesn't require as much as 7 hours inside a hot car, you know. It's absolutely tragic what happened to that dog, but we have situations. I had a recent one with a dog that walked for 15 minutes outside in the evening and passed away with a heat stroke.
What?
You know?
Are you serious?
15 minutes out in the evening. So depending on the breed, as you were saying, dogs do not sweat like us. They don't have sweat glands except in the foot pads, so they lose heat by panting, by convection through the air that they exhale. And it's not a very effective mechanism, particularly if you have an obese pet or if you have a brachycephalic flat-faced dog, you know, for example, bulldogs, boxers, pugs. Those dogs are very inefficient in dissipating heat, and the temperatures here are really not suitable for them. So during the summer, short toilet walks, you know, out, pee-pee, poo-poo, back in as quickly as possible. Really avoid keeping them outdoors. A lot of people aren't aware of this, but even with temperatures of just 21 degrees, there's a risk of a heat stroke if a dog is left inside the car. A recent study conducted from Stanford University realized that within 1 hour, the temperature inside the car can raise almost 5 degrees. You know, so if the dog is at risk of having a heat stroke with temperatures of 21 degrees, imagine here, we literally cannot leave the car, the dog's unattended for 5 minutes inside the car, you know, absolutely not.
You know, it's funny because when the dogs are really lively and the weather's good, I always see the dogs ahead of the owner. Yesterday, I saw 2 little dogs. They were walking behind the owner, panting. It was so hot. So in a situation like this, let's say if you're going to take your dog for a walk, would you advise somebody first giving them a lot of water before they go, or stopping outside, giving them water on and off, or just keeping it to a minimum walk like you said?
I would say a bit of everything, you know, so make sure the dog is well hydrated before going out, and keep the walks to the shortest possible. You know, it's really not a time to be playing outdoors and for long walks. What you said of the dog walking behind the owner is a clear sign that the dog is exhausted, you know, and doesn't want to walk any longer. And if possible, whenever possible, just bring water with you and offer periodically so they can stay hydrated. But again, you know, it's not the time for walks. Dogs should only go outside to do their toilet business and go straight back in, regardless of the breed. Of course, certain breeds are more at risk, but still, it's way too hot for long walks at this time of the year, okay?
If anyone out there thinks my dog might be like overheated, are there any symptoms they need to look out for?
So absolutely, the first thing you have to keep an eye out is for their breathing. If the dog starts panting excessively and their tongue starts turning blue, if their mucous membranes, so the tongue and the gums start looking bluish, that's a really big sign of alarm. The first thing to do if you believe your dog is overheating is removing him immediately from the place where that's happening. You know, take him to the shade, remove him off the car, wherever he is, just put him in a cooler place. You can direct a fan at him, and you can start cooling him down with wet towels placed on the neck, on the groin area, on the armpits. You can also direct a fan towards those areas. You can even wet the ear flaps. It's a nice area to lose temperature. Whenever possible, measure the rectal temperature. Okay, just put the thermometer in the anus and try to record the temperature, because that's vital information for the vets, and rush them to the clinic. Okay, even if the dog is not collapsed yet, if there's the slightest sign that they may have overheated, it's better to have them checked. So whenever possible, just take them straight into a clinic.
Okay, so in the news recently, Abu Dhabi police have warned the public to be wary of online adverts offering pets for sale or adoption. Have you read the story? There are a lot of fraudsters out there.
Yes, sadly this keeps happening, and even before it was on the news, it was something that the veterinary community was aware. A lot of our clients get scammed. It's sad, it's very sad, but it's also a very good reminder that there's other ways of getting a pet, and namely adoption. We do have a lot of fantastic rescue associations here in the UAE that do a tremendously good job. There's all sorts of pets out there looking for a family, even for people who want a specific type of breed for any given reason, for character or due to their size or whatever. There are pets that are usually available for adoption and need a family. Those pets have been checked by vets most of the time. The associations ensure that they're vaccinated and neutered, etc. I would always advise people to avoid purchasing animals online. Don't contribute to this type of business. We don't know the conditions the animals are kept, and in a way we are fueling a business that preys on the weakness of people, and a lot of times on animal abuse as well. So whenever possible, as we like to say, adopt, don't shop.
Yeah, I completely agree. Everybody I know here has adopted a pet, but growing up in England, we just would shop. But now it's a big thing. I would definitely recommend that. Loads of my friends have done that. So apparently we can tell what kind of mood a cat is in. A technology company has developed an app called Tably that uses the phone's camera to tell whether a feline is feeling pain. It looks at their ear, head position, eye narrowing. Is this something that you would use? Would it help you, Doc?
I think it's a fantastic new invention. It's the developers said it was mostly directed towards newly grad vets that maybe don't have as much experience in assessing pain in cats. Pain can be very subjective, even in humans, so it's not an easy thing to assess a lot of times. So I think it's a very invaluable tool, not only for vets, but for humans. Imagine, for example, your dog had a surgery and is at home and you don't know if he's comfortable or not. Your cat in this case, sorry. You can always use that app to see if there's any indication of pain that you need to relate to your veterinarian, to increase the medication for pain relief. Or if your cat is just overall not looking well, if there's any changes in the behavior, in the toilet habits, in the eating habits, etc., it can be a tool to understand if there's something wrong, if the cat may be in pain or not. So I think it's a very interesting invention.
I grew up with dogs, and I've always been a dog person, never been a cat person. But I have to say, the cats in Dubai are extremely friendly. I have no idea why. Wherever I go, they just sit on my lap if I'm sitting outside. Who are your favorite clients? If you had to choose an animal, what would be your favorite client?
I don't know. It's a very difficult question, but I was a dog person myself, like you. I always had dogs and grew up mostly around dogs. And here I got myself a cat for the first time.
Yes.
An Abu Dhabi special, so found in the streets of Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic companion. I mean, she's not the sweetest cat, not a proper lap cat, but she's really friendly, really cuddly as well when she wants.
Yeah.
And she really dramatically changed my view of cats. I have pets, clients, patients of mine that are cats that love coming to the vet, which is insane. Most cats are terrified of coming to the vet, and they get absolutely... they get super nervous, sometimes even aggressive,
Yeah.
And here, some street cats from Abu Dhabi and Dubai are as friendly as you can possibly imagine.
So friendly.
And you in the clinic, it's crazy.
I know. I'm not scared of stroking cats here at all. They're so cute. Whereas if I go abroad, like in England or America, they just scratch my feet. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I don't know what it is with the cats here. Okay, so we have a text from Aliyah. She says, my Labrador puppy is 5 months old, but seems to be very low in energy. And I'm wondering if there's something wrong. She does sleep a lot, very chilled out for a puppy. She likes to go for a walk, but not too far, and likes to play, but not too much. And she does enjoy playing with other dogs, but is not destructive at all. Is she just lazy, or is there just something wrong with her?
Hopefully she's just lazy, but I would advise, if possible, to have her checked by a vet, because at that age, a Labrador specifically should be crazy, should be a dog that's all over the place and bursting with energy. We do unfortunately see relatively often congenital heart disease in Labradors, and those are precisely the signs. It's a dog that usually has reduced energy levels, that doesn't want to play as much, that doesn't have the capacity to go on long walks. They may also strive a bit slower than the rest of the litter, so if the puppy isn't particularly big or isn't growing very fast, that can also be an indication that something may be wrong. Hopefully it's just due to the weather as well. With hot weather, they obviously have lower energy levels. But I think it's worth to have it checked, just in case there's something there that we can and should be addressing.
Well, if you've got text or any questions you want to ask Dr. Jose about your pets, he is here with us for at least another 15 minutes. You can text us on 4001. You can also contact us on the ARN app or call 04871 5500. Dr. Jose, I had my first ever dog when I was a kid, and we didn't know anything about dogs then. And we used to feed him on and off Kit Kats, normal, chocolate. It's only now I found out that they shouldn't be given normal chocolate. Is that right?
Absolutely.
But can I tell you,
chocolate is highly toxic for dogs and
but
cats.
I don't know what happened with him. He was the most hyper dog, and he lived till 15 years. So I think it did him some good.
No, absolutely. Look, a little bit of chocolate is not necessarily toxic, but it depends on the weight of the dog, the amount of chocolate, and the type of chocolate. Dark chocolate being the most toxic, and white chocolate the least one. But considering it's toxic, it's always better to avoid, even the smallest amount.
Well, I think he's a greedy pig like me, so he can take anything in his stomach. If you have any questions for Dr. Jose, do text us on 4001. He'll be back with us in a few minutes. So Dr. Jose is on a 24-hour call. He has me on call right now for the next 10 minutes, so he can't do anything. Dr. Jose, we've got a text from Rhonda. She says, my guinea pig really likes cat food, dry cat food that is, with 85% chicken salmon content, and he only gets to my cat's bowl when I let her do runabouts in the kitchen. But I do wonder about this desire of carnivorous food. So far, I've stopped her from eating more than a few nibbles, but she fights to get back to the bowl. Any ideas why?
Difficult to say. Pets can be funny sometimes in their likes and tastes, but I agree that you should try to avoid, because it's not an ideal diet for a guinea pig. They're herbivorous animals. Their diet should mostly be fiber, so ensure that she's eating lots of hay, that there's hay always available. And as much as possible, do prevent her from eating cat food. I suppose bit of kibble here and there, it's probably not going to harm her, but it's not ideal, certainly not ideal.
Okay, so I have a question which I find really interesting. My sister got a dog from a breeder, and the breeder was a naturopath. She brought these puppies up in a naturopathic way. So now my sister does the same with the food. And my sister even said to me, if I'm correct, and I remember this correctly, the dog hasn't had vaccines, but she sprays like a naturopathic spray on the paws when she takes him out for a walk. Is it good to bring up dogs this way?
Look, I'm a bit skeptical, to be honest. I'm a scientist, and I try to only practice what's called evidence-based medicine. So my advice to my clients is always something that has been proven by science, by studies to support it, as I don't like to treat my animals as lab rats, so I don't do experiments on them. But I believe at the end of the day, it's the right of every owner to decide how to raise their pets and how to feed them and how to care for them. However, it's important to remember that we almost eradicated a lot of very serious infectious conditions that a lot of times can be deadly due to vaccination of our pets and humans as well. If you think about it, in Europe, it's very rare that we see parvovirus and cat flu and a bunch of other conditions that we still see here in the Middle East and in other regions where vaccination hasn't been done for such a long time, and we still have a large population of unvaccinated animals, and that's clearly due to vaccination. So I believe as much as possible people should try to follow veterinarian advice and keep their animals up to date with their jabs and all prophylactic treatments.
So on the news the other day, I saw a lion, I don't know which country it was in, got COVID. So they had to isolate this line from the rest of the pride. Have you come across any animals in this situation?
So far not, which is good. I did have to test a few animals for COVID, for travel requirements. A few countries have been requesting COVID testing for pets to allow them to enter, and so far all the animals I tested came back negative. I think it's almost anecdotal, the few cases that we've been seeing in animals, so it's really not a concern for public health, and owners should definitely not worry about their animals getting COVID and passing it to them. If something the opposite may be true, we may eventually pass it on to our pets, but do not worry that your pet may be a vehicle of transmission of COVID in the family. Absolutely no risk of that happening, I believe.
Okay. So Saba says that she got a little kitten very recently and realized that it had fleas. So she went and bought some shampoo and a flea comb. And after bathing the little kitten, she realized on the bottle it says you can only use it on cats that are 12 weeks and up. So is that going to be a problem? She's freaking out a little bit. Is it too strong for the kitten?
No, it shouldn't be an issue. So most of those products have that label because they only test it on animals that are 12 weeks or older, or sometimes 8 weeks or older. It's not necessarily dangerous, depends on the amounts used. But insecticides, if something, they can cause signs of intoxication. That's cause the cat to drool. Sometimes they get incoordinated. They may eventually even develop seizures. So if she finds anything abnormal, just bring the cat straight into the vet. So otherwise, what she can do is make sure that she rinsed well all the insecticide shampoo. So if necessary, just wash the cat again with water to remove anything left. Drying well, of course, afterwards. Make sure that the kitten dries well after the bath, but it shouldn't be a problem. There are, however, products that are formulated and prepared for kittens that young, so it may be a good idea to ask in a veterinary pharmacy or a veterinary clinic if they have anything available for the kitten.
Okay, so Naya says, I recently adopted a dog whose family went back to their home country, but the dog seems very down, very depressed. How long will it take him to warm up to her? What can he do just to cheer her up? Because he's feeling very sad and he's looking sad.
No, I can imagine the poor guy. It's difficult for dogs to adjust to a new family. Dogs can create very, very strong bonds with their owners, as we do with them. Lifelong bonds most of the times. That doesn't mean that they cannot learn to love someone else, and they will. They do in time. I think just need to be patient with him. There's a few things out there to help manage stress in dogs. There's a range of pheromone products from Beafar, for example, which is available in the UAE. I think it's called Cani Comfort. It's a diffuser you can use in the house that should help. There's also some nutritional supplements like Calmese and Zilkin. Those are all products that can help, and they are usually sold over the counter because they're not proper medication, they're nutritional supplements. But mostly I think she just has to spend time with him, make him feel safe, respect his limits, don't impose too much on the dog. You know, sometimes we want to cuddle and we want to play and they don't. We shouldn't force them, should as much as possible wait for them to approach us and not the other way around. But I'm sure with time they're going to build a beautiful and lasting friendship. It just takes a bit of time sometimes.
Yeah, and you're right. Dogs are very flexible because back at home, I had a family I grew up with next door, and they moved house and moved business, and the dog stayed in this business. And 3 different families owned him. They spoke 3 different languages, and this dog learned how to speak those 3 different languages when he was told dinner time, walks, sit down. So they will adapt eventually. They're just like us.
Absolutely. They're very flexible and they will adapt. The only thing a dog needs is love. That's their sole purpose of existence. Yeah. We just have to love them as much as possible, spoil them rotten, and they will adapt, they will be happy. There's really no dog that can't be happy. I don't believe in broken dogs. I think that with the right amount of love and attention, all dogs will be happy with whoever looks after them.
I think that's all what we need. We just need some love and attention, and we're all happy as humans and animals. Absolutely. I just got a text saying, I love this segment. Every Wednesday I make sure to listen so I can be by my cats at home. Oh, that's very nice. So Dr. Jose, I'm going to let you go. I know you're on 24-hour call. I really appreciate your half an hour that you spent with us. And I could never be a vet because I would take every one of those pets home. I fall in love with them very quickly.
No. It's a temptation.
It is
Thank
a temptation.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's always nice to be here, and see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, go and get some sleep if you can, okay, Dr. Jose?
Cheers, will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.